The Biden administration is now proposing a massive change to Medicare and Medicaid. This right here, what we're going to discuss today, could actually have major ramifications for millions of people that are currently on Medicare and Medicaid. So I'm going to break down what's going on, what the Biden administration is now proposing, but why they could actually go up against some opposition in the Trump administration. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on and who this could potentially impact. But all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So what the Biden administration is proposing is something that many people have said would never work and it couldn't be done. Look at this right here. It says Biden proposes Medicare and Medicaid cover costly weight loss drugs for millions of obese Americans. Now, how is this going to play out and how does this impact the American people? Well, first off, you need to understand the costs associated with this. Now, we're going to get to that in a minute, but some of the medication, this costly weight loss medication, some of this costs over $1,000 a month. Guess what? The majority of people on Medicare and Medicaid cannot afford this. They just can't afford it. It's too expensive, but it's needed to help them with their obesity. Now, I want to read a little bit of this article from the Associated Press. Look at this right here. It says, the costly proposal from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services immediately sets the stage for a showdown between the powerful pharmaceutical industry and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an outspoken opponent of the weight loss drugs who, as President-elect Donald Trump's nominee to lead the agency, could block the measure. Keep in mind that this measure would be voted on, I believe, 2 or 3 days after President-elect Donald Trump is inaugurated into office. Okay, that could set up a massive showdown. But let's keep reading it. It says, while the rule would give millions of people access to weekly injectables that have helped people shed pounds so quickly that some have labeled them miracle drugs, it would cost taxpayers as much as $35 billion over the next decade. Keep in mind, if we increase the cost, okay, if we increase the cost for Medicare and Medicaid, if we increase the benefits that are going out, okay, it's going to have to bring in more money from the taxpayers. But guess what? Okay, seniors, the people that are paying for this, they are really going to pay for it, especially those that do not use it. Okay, this will be devastating to many people because it's going to raise the cost of Medicare, especially the Medicare Advantage plans. This is going to go through the roof. Now, I want to read this to you. Okay, it says it's a good day for anybody who suffers from obesity. It's a game changer for Americans who can't afford these drugs otherwise. Now, here's what you need to know. Now, I'm going to skip ahead in this article. I want to read something to you because what we now know, okay, and again, look at the cost. It says right here, the cost of the drugs has largely limited them to the wealthy, including celebrities who boast of their benefits. A monthly supply of Wegovy rings up at $1,300 and Zepbound will put you out $1,000. Shortages of the drugs have also limited the supplies. But it says people can lose 15 to 25% of their body weight on the drugs. Now, yes, these are big game changers for many people. But this is why I think this is such a big deal. It's because the Biden administration, if they try to pass this, right, they try to get this to go through. Here's the problem. They have to go up against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Look at this. It says Kennedy, who's a Trump nominee for the HHS secretary, is subject to Senate confirmation. He's railed against the drug's popularity in speeches and on social media. He said the U.S. should not cover the drugs through Medicaid or Medicare. Instead, he supports, keep this in mind, broad expansion of coverage for healthier foods and gym memberships. Okay. What we are about to see go down for Medicare and Medicaid is something that we're also going to go see and see it for Social Security and other programs like that. I want to read you what Robert F. Kennedy had to say. Look at this right here. He says, for half the price of Ozempic, we could purchase regeneratively raised organic food for every American, 3 meals a day, and a gym membership for those for every obese American. That is what he said to a group of federal lawmakers during a roundtable event earlier on this year. He says Ozempic is a diabetes drug that can stimulate weight loss. Okay, great. But here's the thing. If everybody now has access to those weight loss medications, okay, how do we get this through? Because right now, not everybody would actually qualify. Now, I want to read you that as well. Because again, this is extremely important to understand, because there are some people that are going to really want this. Other people are going to say, I don't really need it. Look at this right here. It says it's estimated that an additional 3.5 million people on Medicare and 4 million people on Medicaid would qualify for coverage of the drugs. But research suggests far more people might qualify, with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services estimating roughly 28 million people on Medicaid are considered obese. Okay, so it's estimated that currently 3.5 million people on Medicare, 4 million people on Medicaid could qualify. That is 7.5 million people. But they're also saying that 28 million people are considered obese. I believe you're considered obese if you are, I think it might, yeah, here it is. It says right here. It says under the proposal, only those who are considered obese, someone who has a body mass index of 30 or higher, would qualify for coverage. Some people may already get coverage of the drugs through Medicare and Medicaid if they have diabetes or are at risk for heart and stroke disease. Now, stroke and heart disease. Now, here's the issue. And this is, again, where it's going to come down to, regulations, some of the verbiage and the rules. But who is going to dictate if somebody is at risk of a stroke or heart disease? Is it their primary care physician? Is it somebody different, right? How do we figure this out? That's what some are questioning is, well, it's simple. It's very simple. If a doctor is worried that, well, their patient's going to die, right? And so, again, they're on Medicare. But if they're worried about this, well, they could easily just manipulate their thoughts. It's like, yeah, you're probably at medium risk, but we're going to just go ahead and say you're at high risk so that you can qualify for this drug through Medicare and Medicaid, right? Simple enough. So there's going to be a lot of fraud there, is what many people are speculating. But again, this is saying that you would be considered obese if you have a body mass index of 30 or higher. Okay. Well, is that going to work? What if you're very close? Okay, what if you're very close? What if you just need to become a little bit more obese to qualify? And then, what if you are just a little bit more obese, you qualify, but then and you end up losing weight, and then you're technically not, your body mass index is actually lower than 30. What happens there, right? So again, a lot of things are being considered at this time. But here's the big one. Are they actually going to try to push this through before? Okay? Are we going to see this get pushed through during the Biden administration? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because again, we're less than 2 months away from President-elect Donald Trump being inaugurated into office, and then it would be the Trump administration deciding a lot of this stuff. Right now, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of people hoping that this does go through, but then there's also many people that are hoping this does not go through because they are not obese. They do not want to pay for somebody else having an obese lifestyle and just, kind of being unhealthy. But again, that is kind of the program that we built. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you right now is the Biden administration is proposing this because they say this right here could actually save billions and billions of dollars if we pay for the medication. Okay, this right here would bring people back down to a healthier lifestyle, which means they wouldn't pay as much as far as payments for, let's say, surgery on ankles, right? High blood pressure, just other health concerns that come along with obesity. So we're gonna see what happens. We'll get the reports here probably very soon as to how much this could potentially save, or what the real benefit to this is, and how much the American people will be impacted. So as we get those updates, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates, but that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.